Hi guys, welcome back to SSRG and Your View. We're happy to have you back with us. And as you know, this is Women's Month. So in commemoration of this great event, we are trying to do something that concerns women and even generally the whole public. So we're talking about feminism. Ta-da! So these are scholars and they are very opinionated. And we want to know what they think about feminism, the good parts, the parts they don't like, whatever, from men's perspective. And of course, we have a queen here from a woman's perspective too. So let's dig in, guys. No much talk because it's a long and a debatable topic. So let's have your opinion. Let's have it. Let's have it.
The question, I think the main question is how many people are willing to debate this topic and avoid getting cancelled online?
I mean, I mean,
I think that's a
well,
very valid question.
But I'm just going to jump in. I think that
okay.
the concept of feminism is something that affects everyone. I
Mm-hmm.
think women's issues is everyone's issues, and it should be discussed by everyone. I'm not saying that we should take expertise position because we are not experts on when it comes to women's issues, but because it also impacts us and we have mothers, we have siblings, we have partners and all that, how we look at women and how we treat women affects all of us. So I think that the core concept, the core idea of feminism is good because if you look at history, you can see that women has always been treated as second-hand citizens in different parts of the world. Uh, there is a strong argument by Igbo scholars from the southeast Nigeria who believe that patriarchy wasn't a thing in southeast Nigeria, but currently
Mm-hmm.
it is a south. It's very much entrenched in Nigeria and every part of Nigeria. And I'm happy we are talking about this topic because I remember some days ago I saw on Instagram somebody posted a picture of this woman who is a senator and said that this person would make a wonderful president for Nigeria. And I
Yeah,
was looking at the comment
and I saw
section,
the comments. Yeah,
and
Yes.
people were saying very sexist things. Like it was insane. Like some people were like, they would rather have a goat be our president than have a
then
woman be our
yeah,
president. And I'm like, so like the pain that everybody's feeling because of corruption and systemic injustices and all that is not enough for you to even rethink the way you
And for the record, that is a woman with a track record of doing good in politics.
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
That she's proven to know how to do it.
Yes.
Still, we've seen her results, but because she's just a woman, she's
Yes.
disqualified by the
Yes.
majority of, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know that, men have different opinions. Like most of the time when I'm on social media, I usually jump to the comment section and I see the way men speak to women and the way men talk about women and want to dictate how women should be and how they should live their lives and all that. So, yeah, I think this is an important topic to talk about, but I'm not going to hog the mic. I
Thank
give
you.
other people to
Thank you
talk
so
Yeah,
about
much.
I
this.
Let's have rounds before I
I
ask my
think
next question. Yeah, TC.
I think added to what Prince has said, feminism is good.
Mm,
Um, just like also like I would relate it to we talking about masculinity
Mm-hmm.
because we also know, I mean, people studies are beginning to show that masculinity in itself is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Toxic masculinity that is bad. So feminism is not bad. So my opinion is that there is toxic feminism, and that's
Mm-hmm.
where you begin to talk about, oh, I hate men, I hate all
Mm-hmm.
men. Those
Mm-hmm.
kind of feminism is what I'm against because I also know that most of the anti-oppressive, almost every anti-oppressive movement is
Mm-hmm.
rooted in feminist movement. Even
Mm-hmm.
academic discourses, you would
Mm-hmm.
hear in each discipline, you will talk about, like in gerontology, we have feminist gerontologies. We have
Mm-hmm.
in anthropology, there is feminist anthropology. So you will see that
Mm-hmm.
feminist movement has core in anti-oppressive movements.
So, TC, I want to ask a question. So, how do you differentiate toxic feminism with misandrist or misandry? Because this is a terminology problem.
Yes.
And I want you to give me the difference between toxic femininity and misandry
So
or misogyny.
Mm.
Misogyny, yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
So I think it's clear. Misogyny is the hate of women. It's as simple as that, right? Because these two concepts are interconnected.
Do you know why I'm asking the question?
Yes.
Is because we call what is not feminism and we try to infuse it into feminism. Because misandry, which is the hate of men, has a terminology on its own which does not
Okay.
concern feminism.
Yeah.
And
But-
somebody
but
can be
again,
saying
to
they are
answer-
feminist, but that's
to
not
answer-
feminism. That's misandry.
Okay,
Yeah, to answer that
so
question.
I think
I mean, I was just going to
Yeah.
say, to answer that question, that where the confusion stems from is that misandrists or people who hate men,
Claim to be feminists.
exactly, they claim to be
Well,
feminists.
like
So
for me,
where-
okay. For
that's
me,
where
I
the-
would say that everybody should be a feminist, full stop.
Mhm.
Because I used to be part of this thing that I'm a feminist, but the current blah 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 blah. But then when you look at it, like when you want to explain like what a feminist really is, the problem is that we try to associate it with people doing things that is not feminism.
So many things that is not feminism.
So for you to like look at feminism, you just have to look at what are the tenets of feminism. What does feminism preach?
Entail.
What are the ideas of feminism? And then you identify. So you don't use people's own interpretation of what they feel.
Exactly.
Okay, well,
Where does toxic feminism come from? What is that?
Can I say something?
Misandry is hate of men, and there is a term for that. Not
There
feminism.
is nothing like toxic. Like for me, it's either feminism or not. So
Either feminism or you hate men. And when you
Can I
hate men,
just
it has a
make- can I
term.
just
Why are we
make-
adding feminism to it?
Can I just make one point? I think
Yes,
that,
please.
I think that every ideology in this world can be corrupted. The same way every religion can be corrupted, right? So the ideal thing is that, like, if you look at the history of a lot of feminist movements, it's just people seeking social justice and equal rights. It's as simple
Equal
as that.
rights,
Social justice.
exactly.
And when we say social justice and equal rights, we are not saying women should now become higher than men. We are saying equal. Men and women equal. That's what we are saying. So, but the problem is that just the same way every other thing can be corrupted, feminism can be corrupted, and you would see some radical feminists who now starts the hate of men. That is misandry.
That's not feminism.
Even let's circle
And
back.
that's
Let's
not
circle
feminism.
back because radical feminism is not hate of men.
Wait,
Radical
I understand.
feminism
I think-
is trying
I
to
understand.
take your rights by force. You don't hate men, but you are doing the activism because it is really urgent and it must have to be done now. Like you
Wait,
take
Emma
to
wants to say
protest,
something.
you take to going to radio, you take to challenging oppressive. That's radical feminism. Is not still hate of men.
So if you
Because,
say you
like,
hate men, you are not a feminist.
You're not a feminist. It's misandry.
Like-
These are not two terminologies. And we can, like, for example, I want to ask a question. Emmanuel has not given his opinion, but can I ask a question? Can we do a social
of course, go
experiment
on.
here
Yes.
quickly? I have a question. I will tell a very short story. So a boy had an accident. If you've heard this story before, you cannot give your answer. A boy had an accident and the father died. And they took him to the hospital.
Wasn't I the one that told you this story?
Oh my God, so you don't have any answer. Or do we all know the story?
You don't catch
No,
up,
go
you don't
ahead.
catch
Go
me.
ahead.
So so a boy had an accident and he was taken to the hospital, and in the accident the dad died with the boy, and the doctor appeared and the doctor said, oh, I cannot operate with this boy. I cannot operate because this boy is my child. So who is the doctor to the child? Yeah.
Sorry, ask
Did-
your question.
wait, the doctor said-
I didn't get this.
So let me. Can I?
A boy
Yes, go ahead.
a boy had an accident,
With his
Yep.
dad.
and in the accident he died with his father.
No,
And he was
his father
taken.
died. He was
His
taken
father
to the
died.
hospital.
His father died, and the boy is badly injured. He was taken to the hospital, and the doctor came and said, "Oh my God, I cannot operate on this boy or work on him because this is my child." So, who is the doctor to the child?
Wait, so but the father already died.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Emmanuel, who is the doctor?
I'm sorry,
The
but
doctor
maybe I
was
don't
Ifechukwu, who
have
is the
this. I don't
the
doctor?
know who the
grandfather.
doctor is.
The
Honestly,
grandfather.
Ifechukwu, who is the doctor?
Mhm.
But
So I'm
why don't
glad
you
that the
think that the
person
doctor
that
can be the child's mother? Children are
exactly, I'm happy that
doctors.
the person that introduced me to these theories, even in this call, this is social conditioning, and because we have been conditioned so well that there are some profession, even we that are feminists. The first day I was asked the question by Prince, I failed it. And that's not me trying to be
Bro,
this.
that's not
We have
good.
been
There's not any
conditioned
man.
to never associate some things with women.
it's
A
women.
parent of a
Bro.
child can be a
Exactly.
man or a woman.
Women.
But no,
And
but
so
wait. But that question is flawed because she conditioned us from the very beginning to think
I said the
No, no,
father
no, no,
is
no.
dead.
She
No.
didn't condition you. You have been conditioned by society
Condition.
to
Yeah.
not
To think that a
think
doctor
that
can
women are
never be a
doctors.
woman, even as you
No,
understand feminism and equality.
Yeah.
bro, I
but
failed
but
I
you.
but
also,
is it proven that this is conditioning? That
because it is social construct, you
that
have
we
been
are conditioned.
entrenched.
No,
It
because the
is.
truth is that I never had this belief that doctors always have to be men or something.
Why don't you
That's
Yeah,
provide the
but
that's
the
not
answers
fact
what it
that you
means.
easily?
didn't think
That's
that
not
in
what it
this
means.
question means that
I
It's
mean,
subconsciously.
I think
subconsciously.
Just yeah.
I think
Another
this lesson was
experiment
well.
did it with even kids. I'm not talking about African kids, Western kids. They were
This
naming
lesson
professions.
was well
They were
taken.
naming professions, and no child mentioned a fire service, a fire worker, an engineer as a woman.
Woman.
Not a single child. But when all the professionals came in, they were women and the children were surprised.
So in the same way, if you do the reverse of this and you reshape it and talk about maybe a teacher, a nurse, a social
A
worker,
nurse, a
most
cook
of the
Yes.
time people would tell you that maybe the social worker is the
is a
child's mother.
woman.
Yes.
So it's that conditioning that has gotten to our subconscious that we tend to associate certain professions to certain gender.
Gender.
Yeah.
And so, even as scholars, it is so terrible that we don't even do this. Secondly, we want to disassociate feminism from every other behavior. Feminism is feminism, and because somebody is hating men, I do not. They have fathers, they have brothers, so it's called
And they may
misandry.
give birth to
If you are
something.
wicked, that is wickedness.
You know
If
you are
you
the
don't,
moderator here, right? Because I
I'm
haven't
just
heard
wearing my
Emma say
feminist
anything.
shoe.
I haven't heard TC say anything. You
Like
are the
you're
one
feeling
talking.
bad, like you're feeling bad for
Okay.
Emma.
If you
So,
want
guys,
us to be here when you
we want to hear how best can men support women in this feminist movement and talk and be a voice. What are the practical ways that men can support women and seek for these equal rights? Like, we want to hear from you.
Okay, so I feel that when you ask the question, how can men support women? To some extent, that is already even a negation of feminism. Calm down, I'll
Yeah,
tell you why. You know why?
I think I agree.
No. I
Because
do not agree, but I will
I
let
do
you.
not
I do not
too.
agree
no,
too, but continue.
relax. I have to tell you why.
Okay.
The reason I'm saying that is that it, it doesn't have to be a kind of support because feminism is not a gender thing. You see, so when you are trying to say how can men support, it seems to me
I
that
exclude
it
the
is a
men.
woman's thing, but men are providing
I
support. But it
excluded.
is a thing for everyone. That is why I'm saying it is a sort of negation.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
feminism is something for everyone, but the problem is that most people who do feminism negatively think it is for women, but it is not true because the simplest definition of feminism says it is equality for the sexes. It never said it is equality for women
For
alone.
women.
So,
Thank
so
you.
this is why, as a man, for example, if I once I begin to think and not just think but act towards the idea that women are suppressed in some professions, for example, or in some cultures, women are suppressed, and we need to put an end to that. I am a feminist automatically.
Yeah,
So I don't need to be a woman, and it is everybody's
exactly.
responsibility. So because this is Women's Month, it is not even an option to ask how can we support them. It is something that we all must do in our professions, in our communities,
You
and
convinced me.
everywhere. You
Exactly.
try
Yeah,
to
yeah, we totally support. Yeah.
You just played with our emotions at first. The way you said it, and then
Spiked
you
it
finished
up,
us.
and this is why it is
the
important to
thing be say
interact.
una blood to the heart because when I said calm down. I said calm down. I know say they don't provoke. Calm
Relax,
down.
relax.
You see what? So because the reason I raised that was because somehow this is how people begin to see it. just like this social experiment you did now. Once people hear feminism now, almost everybody always thinks about that it is something that a woman has to do. And
Yeah.
this is the problem. We all have
Yeah.
to do it. So I'll stop here for now.
I'm a
And
feminist and you've corrected that notion about me. I've learned something big.
Yes.
I
Yeah, thank you
think
so much.
another,
Yeah, TC.
Yeah,
I
the
was
only
going
thing
to say, oh,
is that feminism is everybody's issue, right?
Business.
It's everybody's business, right?
Yeah.
The same way I think that racism is everybody's business. Like I think that everybody should be making an effort to have a more equitable world for all of us. So it shouldn't be like men supporting women or women supporting women or whatever term. The only thing I would say is that because of the history of men being the perpetrators of women's oppression, men should not take leading positions when it comes to feminist issues because men do
Advocating.
not even know women
Or
enough
understand.
to say that this is what women want. Rather, we should be in a position where we are actually humble enough to learn and to understand what women want and how much they want our involvement in this type of
No,
issue.
no.
That's the only thing.
Intellectual humility.
When a man takes leadership position in feminism issues, it is like using Igbo language to teach someone English.
It is
How
it
will
is
they
so
learn?
bad. It is so
How will
bad
they
that there
learn?
was a conference to discuss women's health in the United Nations and there was no single woman there.
I heard about that.
It's
Yes.
United Nations for crying out loud. It's not even an African thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
In Igbo culture, women make like very important leadership decisions. We know we have Umada.
Yes.
Igbo culture is very empowering for women. So whatever agitations we are making now is also because we have been infiltrated by some
Just call it colonization.
infiltrated by some Western world because
comes back to
women make,
colonization.
even in my village, Ako, if you trace the history of Ako, Umada and Obodachi is a place that women make decisions. If men oppress women, though there is a lot of cultures that were adjusted, right? Because the world evolved and things change and all that. But it was not this terrible. Women make decisions. The woman that has some final say in very decisions that concerns marriage, that concerns the community, they contribute to development. Just that they will not be in the Igwe and the cabinet. But now these are changing and is evolving. But colonialism made everything so bad and so worst.
Again,
So
Fide, I'm reminding you are the moderator.
I should look at
No,
moderated.
but I think it is good because this is the feminism we are saying that men should not be the head. So it is good.
Yeah, so she's
Not dressing
But
themselves.
she's leading us astray.
It is fine. I just feel like you should also leave space for hope. But
Yeah.
their voices should be the most
Perfect. The
important.
queen.
because the queen has not even said anything since.
The queen.
no, like for me, I think I agree with what Boss said. Sorry, what Prince?
It is okay.
It's
I,
shy.
Now they know. Now they
Okay,
know.
just keep saying what you're saying.
Yeah.
Nobody heard
I
you.
agree with what Prince said that even though it's like everybody's responsibility, as Ima have pointed out, but then because this movement kind of spun out of the history and the discrimination women have faced in the past, it's very important that women are seen in like leading positions as when it concerns like feminism. And it's very, very bad. Like Fidel said, that we are having a conference about like women's health and no single woman it's there. So that shows that even like on the global stage, there is still a whole lot of work to be done. Then what do we now say for like other places that are like looking to, because people learn from like the global stage, like the United Nations like sets the pace for other places. So when we see something like that, it takes us like way back. So I think like
So please, I have something to say about the Catholic Church, religion and feminism. So I'm a Catholic, by the way, and I'm a Christian, but the Catholic Church is getting it all wrong when it comes to women. But Nigeria is doing well. At least they have women mass servants and all, but there are no women priests yet. But where is particular about me is on women's health too. In Catholic Church, contraceptive is evil, condoms is evil, abortion is evil, and artificial family planning like IUD and so many other things is evil. The only thing they encourage is natural family planning, which is withdrawal. Which, if you are married,
Oh,
first of all,
they encourage that
And
one.
I think Fidel and I were
which
talking about this thing yesterday
Like,
yeah,
because we were talking about
so
like
Catholics should
marriage.
listen to me. If there's a priest watching this, you have to have an emergency Vatican Council because first of all, priests are not married. They don't understand what goes on through the woman's body and how difficult withdrawal is when you are actually married because men, they will not do that and they won't use condom. So it is the burden of the woman to take contraceptive and prevent childbearing or put some IUD or what. So calling it a sin when you do not really understand, the Vatican Council is majorly comprised of priests and bishops that are not women. And so when they make these rules that impact women, it is just such an error. So the Catholic Church, please, I'm a Catholic, another Vatican Council should be held and women should be invited to explain these things so that they will understand.
It's not
Because
just that
I
women should be invited. Women should be part of the papacy and all whatever
Exactly,
it is
because
called.
I also feel like we should like do away from the whole theory of support, come and say you support women and stuff like that. Like, how do you treat women in the home? Like, it should
That's
be
true.
that practical because
it
Like
should
your
be
sister,
practical.
we were
your
talking about
mother,
this
your
yesterday,
partners.
and
How
a
do you
man, a man
do you treat them as human beings?
yeah, because me and Fide were talking about this yesterday, and a man and his wife, the woman suffers most because statistics have shown that women suffer
We
more in
carry the
marriage.
burden.
Yeah.
And then a woman that probably have had like maybe risky pregnancies, she gets pregnant, and you know that this pregnancy is risky, but because you are the man, you're like, you abort my baby, like you have to carry this pregnancy. I don't know if you get. So it goes beyond just coming out in public spaces to say I support women.
You support
Like,
women.
how do you carry out these actions in the home, like in your place of work, on the street, in the market? How do you show that you treat women just like as your
I
equal?
think, I think,
So
I
I
think
think it.
this, yeah, this what you're saying now, just like while everyone was talking, I was just thinking about how we think about some of these social ills or oppression against women or other groups. Uh, Maybe we think about it in terms of the individual impact. Oh, this is one person who is being oppressed or marginalized against, and it's just impacting that person. But if we think about the trickle down effects throughout generations, like how if a woman goes through oppression, maybe that impacts her educational outcome or health outcome, how that can trickle down to her children, how that children can transfer that
Yes.
inequity or
Cycles.
that, so it continues that perpetuation of vulnerability or marginalization or whatever. So
Yeah.
to answer your question earlier, like men should really think about this as impacting them also, because it doesn't just impact women
Not
only.
And
just in
Hope was
theory,
right.
they should
Hope was
carry it
right
out in
when
practice.
Hope
Not
was
just
right when she
not
said
just holding conferences, not just they should like
This
carry it out practically.
this is why SSRG is here.
Yeah.
Things that turn into action. We are not about theories and theories. Practical. Act it, please.
yeah. So I was just going to add that it's not just about acting alone, because when you go down to communities, you see that a lot of things, even words that a lot of men say, the way they think, the way they say things, they are already oppressive. For example, in my part, it's popular for people to say, just imagine a woman I married with my money. People say this a
My
lot.
property.
This
A
statement
product I
See,
alone,
see,
bought.
I think
this statement alone is bad.
I think there should be a different video where we dedicate it to talking about language and oppression, the relationship between language and even like the
You
proverbs
are
we
writing
use.
that.
Like,
Yes,
do
you
you
are
know
writing
that
that
there
down.
are proverbs that make women look like they are
Yes.
not, equal to men? Yeah,
Yeah.
so stuff
Or
like that.
present. We are just
Exactly.
invisible.
Exactly. You are right, Prince, because even if we go into that, we are going to take so long today.
We
Yeah.
So
should do
let me
that video.
pause here. Let me just
So
pause here
thank you
for
so
now.
much, guys. You see that this is a very exhausting topic, and we cannot even our opinions. We want to hear your own opinions in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. My final take is that feminism favors men more than women.
More
Because
than
if we gain
women.
feminism, half of men's problem is solved. No opinion from any of you. This chapter is closed. Love you guys. Bye for now.